Hey everyone, quick thing. First of all, yeah, as usual, this is not for kids. Second, I kind of messed up when it came to one of the characters' names. For some reason, I kept calling him Milo. Well, in reality, no, his name's actually Milo. I think the reason why was because I was working on a project and there was a character called Milo, so I think that was stuck in my head. But yeah, just letting you know that the character's name is Milo, not Milo. All right, let's go.
Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you're having a good Christmas in this nightmare time that we live in. Me? Well, I'm doing my usual Christmas tradition. Setting up traps for Santa because he owes me big time. Hey, yeah, how's the traps going?
Still nothing. Like I said,
Just checking.
Can you not and just clean up the house? Seriously, the place is a frickin' pigsty.
Whatever. Batman, Long Halloween, issue 3.
Warning, spoilers. We open with the Joker, who, in a scene homaging Jack Nicholson's scene in the '89 film, reads the newspaper while seeing A Winter Wonderland, and seeing articles that are all about the holiday killer, and he is pretty pissed. He then proceeds to quote the Grinch. Joker heads out, revealing that he actually is broken into a family's house and has them bound and gagged.
Kinda surprised that he didn't kill them afterwards, but I guess it'd be too obvious.
Meanwhile, at Arkham Asylum, we see Batman and Gordon, who are dealing with both the Joker's escape, but also to meet with one of the inmates, who could possibly help track down the holiday killer. Who is this inmate? Well, none other than Julian Day, aka the Calendar Man. Calendar Man doesn't give them a straight answer though. He goes back and forth on whether or not Holiday is a man and a woman, and starts getting pretty cryptic. He does let them know that the killer will have multiple points of strike since, well, obviously in February, there'll be several holidays to attack, like Groundhog Day, Ash Wednesday, Earth Day.
Spoiler alert. The killer doesn't strike on those days.
Yeah, of course he's gonna go for the obvious one. Elsewhere, the Joker has a bit of a meeting with Sal Maroni, for he is Joker's first suspect into who Holiday is, since he is known to be Falcone's rival. We don't know exactly what Maroni said, but apparently it was enough to convince Joker to leave him alone. Later that night, Maroni is then met by Batman, who asks about Joker's connection to the Holiday killer. Maroni tells him the truth, that being that he really doesn't know, and he goes on to talk about how the city is going crazy, which introduces one of the themes of the story that I'll get into in a moment. And while that's going on, we see Harvey and Gilda enjoying their new home.
For at least 2 seconds.
Joker shows up once again, quoting the Grinch, "Holy crap, those are a lot of teeth."
I'll get more into it when I get into the art, but seriously, Bruce Campbell would be envious of that job.
Harvey Dent's able to fight Joker and get a few good hits in, but as Joker says, he's no Batman. Joker says to Harvey that he's on the list of suspects on who the Holiday killer is, but instead of trying to torture or threaten to hurt his wife, he decides to just leave and warn him that if it turns out he is the Holiday killer, yeah, it's gonna get ugly. Our story ends with the Joker breaking into Falcone's home and telling him that he better find the Holiday killer or Joker's going to murder everyone until he finds them. Joker leaves while quoting "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" and nearly stopped by Falcone's bodyguard Milo, who you might recall being the henchman who asked if Falcone wanted to persuade Bruce Wayne in the first issue. Milo is knocked out, and when he wakes up, he unfortunately is then immediately killed by the Holiday killer. Batman finds Milo dead, surrounded by playing cards and a snow globe. Batman picks up the card and gets ready for whatever Joker and Holiday may do next. This issue was pretty good. It sets up more of Gordon and Batman trying to figure out who the Holiday killer is now, while in the last two, they've mostly been focusing, along with Dent, on taking out Falcone, while also introducing this mini arc for the Joker to trying to find the Holiday killer himself. Also, as I said earlier, this does bring in another theme of the series, that being the changes of the criminals in Gotham. For years, Gotham was run by the mob, but with Batman's arrival, a new form of criminal has risen in the form of the supervillains. One issue I did have with it is that we didn't really know much about Milo. I mean, he's only shown up twice, and even then, his scenes were pretty short and he didn't really do much, with the first being his talk with Falcone in the first issue, and then his death. I mean, besides the fact that he is Falcone's bodyguard, which honestly he wasn't really much of a good one since multiple people have broken into his house by this point, we know nothing about him. As for the characters, there's not much I can say about the characters who are already established in the story, like Batman and Gordon, since they're still written well, but they didn't really have much to do when it comes to their character development. And it's mostly focusing on establishing the characters introduced in this story, starting with Calendar Man, who, man, oh boy. A lot of you might recall him being in the Arkham series, particularly Arkham City, where he would be telling you creepy holiday-related stories depending on what day you meet him in the game, and being probably one of the creepiest additions. Yeah, you could thank this series, because before Long Halloween, he was just a goofy Silver Age villain who wore calendar pages as a makeshift cape. And here, though, he's frickin' Hannibal Lecter, all the way down to giving really weird cryptic answers, and all while having a wicked glee to it. Joker is very interesting. He clearly, throughout the issue, is chasing after Holiday, but for some reason, letting his suspects live. Yeah, it's Joker and can be unpredictable, that's one of the reasons why he's my favorite, but there is a method usually to his actions, even if you can't see it at first. And knowing what he's planning on doing next makes it even more odd. As for the Holiday Killer suspects, the only new addition is Sal Maroni, who definitely got the motivation. But from his encounter with Joker and Batman, he clearly was not as quick to the draw like Holiday was in issue 2. You could argue that maybe he hired someone, but that'd be kind of a cop-out, if that was the case. As for the other suspects, nothing new to add to either Harvey or Carla, since Carla is MIA in this issue, and though it is really suspicious, and Joker breaking into his house was Harvey's only scene in this issue. As for Sal's art, it's still solid in most cases, especially with Calendar Man's design being a haunting white with dark circles around his eyes. Yeah, it's pretty creepy. But remember the first issue when I said that some of the proportions would be kind of off later on? Well, Joker is the first example, since everyone else looks pretty normal, and while having his skin bleached, he's still human. I mean, I get it if he was something like Ivy, I'll get to her another time, and Grundy, but that's because they aren't human. But even then, they don't look that crazy, no pun intended. Again, not bad, just a bit odd.
Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Be safe out there, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas.
Holy crap, I got him!
Told you that would work.
We wish you all a Merry Christmas.